I don't know why that wasn't set to public, but okay. Let's get after it. Be right back. I'm still here, I just gotta do some things. Got that out the way. That out the way. Alright, we're looking good. One of my monitors went out, so unfortunately I'm on one monitor. But I got YouTube Studio running through my laptop. Okay, let's see here. Sound's working, cool. Let's put that right there. Alright, I better not be seeing connection issues. If I start running through the same problems I had earlier today, I'm gonna be really mad. Now, why in the hell did my iPad battery die so quickly? Okay. Until we get some people in here, I'm gonna play around. Let's see. We're gonna mess around on Twitter. Alina Habba, while I am flattered by the support and speculation, the role of press secretary is not a role I am considering. Although I love screaming from a podium, I will be better served in other capacities. This administration is going to be epic. So proud of the Trump team, the latest appointment, and 47. I agree. She's better off other places. It would be very cool to see her there, but we need her badass to be fighting for Trump in the legal world behind the scenes. I think that's where her talents are best served. Okay, we got that out the way. Alright, let's check OBS. Is everything running smoothly? Because I'm really worried. We had problems earlier today. And my monitor went out. My Ethernet cord went out. We're on Wi-Fi. So I've been having a lot of issues. But it looks like we're good. I think. I'm not seeing any. Let me check again. Okay. Okay. I feel like I'm almost over this cold, but it's lingering. So what do we got? What do we got? So I did think this was an interesting thing that I saw from John Thune, the new Senate majority. Supposedly he's on board. I'll believe it when I see it. But John Thune, He says that all the options are on the table to get Trump's cabinet picks through confirmation, says Senator John Thune. Incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune said all the options are on the table to get President-elect Trump's cabinet picks through the confirmation process amid concerns some appointees won't receive enough votes to be confirmed. So, Trump in recent days announced his choices for key government positions, from Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence to Matt Gaetz as Attorney General and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Health and Human Services Secretary. Thune, Republican, told Fox News chief political anchor Bret Baier Thursday on Special Report that Senate Republicans are going to work with Trump to see that he gets his team installed as quickly as possible so he can implement his agenda. All these people have a process that they have to go through. All these nominees are advice and consent. That's the Senate's constitutional role when it comes to confirmation of nominations to the executive branch of government. And we take that role seriously, he said. We will see. But we also are not going to allow the Democrats to obstruct or block President Trump and the will of the American people. Republicans and Democrats from both sides of the political aisle expressed their shock at Trump's choice of Gaetz as Attorney General. The former Florida congressman reportedly resigned from Congress days before the House Ethics Committee was set to hold a meeting on its investigations into allegations he engaged in. I'm not even going to give that time of day. We all know that's bullshit. Those charges were dropped by the FBI because they said there was no evidence. So I am not even going to give it the dignity of reporting on it. So apparently Lisa Murkowski, whoever the fuck that is, the Republican from Alaska, I know who she is, but she's an unserious person. She said that his pick was she didn't think it was a serious nomination. Well, Lisa Murkowski, we don't think you are a serious Republican, so who gives a shit? Thune was asked about using recess appointments to get Trump's picks through the Senate confirmation if there aren't enough votes for the nominee to get confirmed. Recess appointments, according to the AP, allow a president to fill vacancies while the Senate is out or in recess. Well, it's an option, but obviously it takes, you have to have all Republicans vote to recess as well. So the same Republicans that you mentioned that might have a problem voting for somebody under regular order, that's not entirely true. I don't even think he understands his own process. J.D. Vance can force a recess. Man, I hope he works out, dude. I hope he doesn't become a rhino obstructionist. Man, I'm so sick of this cold. Alright, let's look at RFK Jr. So, yeah, this is a very interesting moment during the Joe Rogan.
Have anyone that is pressuring you to not work with him? Have there been people that are reaching RFK Jr.?
Yes.
Yes, I would imagine. Because financially, he could put a dent.
I would say that, and, I think in many ways they've done a good job. In many ways they've done a bad job. But I would say that the Big Pharma wasn't thrilled when they heard that, I have a relation. I've actually always gotten along very well with him. I've known him a long time.
So that's when Trump was on the Joe Rogan Experience talking about Big Pharma pressuring Donald Trump about appointing RFK Jr. And it just so happens, as soon as he appointed him today, Big Pharma stock dropped. I wonder if we can look that up. So according to the National News Desk, Big Pharma stocks tumble as Trump nominates RFK Jr. to lead HHS. The stock prices of several big pharma companies tumbled Thursday following news that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been nominated to lead the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Kennedy Jr. is known for pushing dubious claims about vaccines and conspiracy. So there they go with that. I'm not even going to read that shit. There you go. So apparently stocks tumbled when he was nominated. And here is
many years to find a pre-licensing safety trial of any of the 72 vaccines doses that are now essentially mandated. They're recommended, but that's effectively mandated for American children, and we have not been able to find any. And every other medication requires, prior to licensing by FDA, that the company perform a safety trial that compares health outcomes in a placebo group and a similarly situated vaccine group. My assumption was that was done for vaccines. We found out that it hadn't been, that it was not, they were exempt. And I made that statement publicly. Dr. Fauci contradicted me, and when President Trump ordered him to meet with me, him and Francis Collins, and a group of my colleagues, I said to them at that time, you've said publicly that I've been dishonest about that. Can you show us a single pre-licensing safety trial, placebo-controlled safety trial for any of the 72 vaccines required for American children? And he made that show of looking through a file, and he said, well, they're back in Bethesda. And I said, will you send them to me? And I never heard from him again, so we sued the HHS. Under the Freedom of Information Law, after a year of litigation, they sent us a letter which is posted on CHD's website that acknowledges that they are now not able to locate a single pre-licensing safety trial, placebo-controlled for any of the vaccines that are now mandated for children. These are zero liability vaccines. I'm not anti-vaccine, but I think we need to be honest and we need to have good science. I spent 30 years trying to get mercury out of the fish in this country, and nobody ever called me anti-fish.
I mean, they do need to have some liability. Like, what's wrong with making these people liable for the shit that they put in us? That seems insane that we're not holding these companies accountable. I spent 30 years trying to get the mercury out of the fish in this country, and nobody ever called me anti-fish. That's a great one. If you're afraid of RFK, you've lost your mind. Take a back seat. Let the professionals in this space handle it. I did hear about that.
If you live a simple, clean lifestyle, then they're not going to make as much money, and they're not going to have as much power in Washington and throughout the rest of the country. It's really about power, isn't it?
We can suggest that it's simple.
Oh, Jillian
it's
Michaels.
Not easy, and it's not easy by design. And in fact, it's called structural violence. And it's this collaboration of this toxic quartet, if you will, of the way big farming proliferates these cheap toxic calories. Big food picks up those calories, and they tinker with it a bit more with their food scientists to make it more addictive, to make it omnipresent. Then Big Pharma catches us on the other side and starts treating all of our sicknesses with all their diseases. And we won't even touch on big insurance and how they play a role because there isn't enough time. But the bottom line is, look at the world. It's this simple. Infertility, highest ever. Early onset cancer diagnosis up 79% over the last 3 decades. 74% of adults in America are overweight and obese. We need change. We need it now. What they're doing isn't working, and it's not working on purpose because it's profitable for the very few. And it's bankrupting Americans. It's the #1 cause of bankruptcy is a health-related condition, and it's killing them. If you're afraid of RFK, you've lost your mind. Take a back seat, let the professionals in this space handle it, and thank God when it starts improving. Period.
Man, she's spitting facts. People don't like to hear it. Look, I get that he's not your typical HHS secretary, but if you didn't have a problem with Rachel Levine, don't tell me about RFK Jr. That is facts. Yeah, it's very interesting, the hypocrisy. I mean, listen, we all knew the left was hypocritical, but the amount of hypocrisy we have seen this past week, the things that, I mean, John Bolton coming out and saying that Matt Gaetz doesn't have the moral stance to be the Attorney General. John Bolton talking about someone not having the morality. That was my favorite one. I cannot get over it. Hearing John Bolton say that was just... I really hope RFK Jr. doesn't expose the $2.8 million bribe payment Pfizer wired to the FDA for their bioweapon approval. It would really be a shame if the public found out about that. Facts. Oh yeah, this was a good one.
HHS Secretary. If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., should be HHS Secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who
watch this guy's hypocrisy
and advises. But there's no managerial...
I want you to pay attention. He's going to start with one argument, and when he gets pressed on it, he's going to switch to another argument.
Experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Why?
Because...
Well, what were the qualifications of the previous ones?
Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself... Say that again?
What were the management qualifications? I mean, Xavier Becerra...
I'm not talking about the previous. I'm looking forward.
But you're calling into question whether he could actually do this job. And I think it's...
Absolutely. I think America is now, and I think
it's important to discuss it, because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience.
So does two wrongs make a right?
Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart lobbyist. Donna Shalala was a university person.
Watch.
Look,
RFK Jr. is a nut.
Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult the man.
So it starts with he doesn't have the management qualifications to be HHS secretary. He presses him on that, asking for the qualifications of the previous secretaries, and then he goes, RFK Jr. is a nut. Basically, you have no argument. You just hate the man. And you're scared of him, because you know you're getting kickbacks from Big Pharma while you're sitting on this stupid-ass panel at Communist News Network, and you don't want that money to dry up when he comes and takes it to their ass. That's what you're worried about.
It's your right to do because you opposed them in the election. But you, Doctor, are raising the issues that he has been raising, and I think they're appropriate questions to raise. I don't know whether he can be confirmed or not. The vaccine stuff at the table is obviously going to be the flashpoint of this hearing. But I'll tell you one thing. This whole issue of the CDC and these public health agencies, look, public trust in the health regime in this country is as low as it's ever been.
But why?
It's because of COVID,
right?
Because of school closures, because of mask mandates, because this country was because let me just finish. Because this country was drugged through a bunch of condescending and heavy-handed mandates that all turned out to be garbage, and that's why it's low. And the questions are valid.
You can give your smug-ass smirk all you want, dude. You know it's true. You know you drugged this country through the mud, and you're a fucking coward.
Is the answer to all of that?
Yeah, but dude, RFK helped promote the assault on the CDC that lowered the disinformation that led to more than a million deaths, Scott. More than 1 million deaths in the United States, higher than any other industrialized nation per capita. That's the result of failed policies, the demonization of the conspiracy theories.
I'm seeing some issues with connectivity. It better not be starting again. Yep. I'm trying to give it some time. I don't know what's been up with that lately. Okay, maybe we're good now. It happened earlier today, too. Okay, maybe we're good now.
policies.
All right,
under the Trump administration.
John, let me let.
See, I hate when that happens because I lose viewers because of connectivity. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I was having that problem earlier today. I hope it stops doing it. Let's run a speed test real quick. That, like, destroyed my... There goes my phone. That destroyed my... Yeah, I got plenty of speed. It destroyed my stream earlier today. Anyways, we're gonna keep going. Let's hear this one.
Essentially, the community kind of was going out publicly, contradicting Howard Lutnick and saying, Trump has told me I can get essentially whatever I would like in this administration.
I don't know what you want me to say. I am just at a loss because we're watching something happen in slow motion that is terrifying. You know, the reason we have a great country is because there are pillars in place. There are columns and structures, just like in your house. Columns and pillars that you don't see.
What the fuck does that even mean?
They keep things in a good place. They keep things in a good direction. We have healthy...
Is he basically saying we have a deep state and somebody like RFK Jr. is going to disrupt that? Hold up. Hold up. Like, I want you to listen to what he just said. Is he admitting? Hold the fuck up.
It's because there are pillars and... I don't know what you want me to say. I am just at a loss because we're watching something happen in slow motion that is terrifying. You know, the reason we have a great country is because there are pillars in place. There are columns and structures, just like in your house.
He is
columns
saying
and
this.
Pillars that you don't see, but they keep things in a good place. They keep things in a good direction.
Van Jones, do you understand how the American government is supposed to work? There's not supposed to be columns and structures we don't see keeping the country afloat. We're supposed to see it, you dumb fuck. That's why Congress has stuff called oversight committees. There's not supposed to be secret pillars and structures holding things up. You're admitting there's a deep state as if it's a good thing.
We have healthy children because there are people who've made sure that there are things in place for that. And right now we're seeing termites unleashed on everything. And this is a termite appointment. We know for sure that Bobby Kennedy is a vaccine denier. He's a vaccine denier. He denies being a denier, but he is a denier. And he is going to do great harm. And when you drive down trusted institutions, democracy only works in a high trust environment. When you make everything political, when you make everything...
Fuck your institutions. How about that? We want to set termites into them because you are destroying us. That is the point. This dude is literally going to get on CNN and admit there's a deep state as if it's a good thing. I mean, dude, they're like saying the quiet part out loud. And they have no shame. No shame. We are appointing RFK Jr. to come after your pillars and structures for a reason. We don't want them because that's not the American way. We're supposed to see how our government is operating. There's not supposed to be unseen forces within the government that's keeping things afloat. That's protecting us. That's not how it's supposed to work. You've gotten away with it for a really long time, Van Jones and others. You really have. You've done well. You've gotten away with it. You've hidden it just enough. People like me, we've seen it for years. But you've hidden it just enough where the general public didn't see it, but now they do see it. And they let you know that they see it on November 5th. They let you know. Resoundingly, they let you know, we see you, and it's over. They gave Donald Trump a mandate, and he is using that mandate and appointing the people that we want him to appoint to come after your unseen forces. That is the point. Every one of you that are freaking out about these appointments, saying that they're coming for our institutions, that's the point. You're too damn dense to understand that. I mean, dude. How do you not see it yet? Even like a 12th grader can see it. I don't... Why are they... What is this?
And I started working on this issue 19 years ago. And for 19 years, I have got every morning, without one exception, I have said a prayer to God to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic.
Well, here you are. And they're very worried about it.
And on August 23rd of this year, God sent me Donald J. Trump.
That's badass.
Boomer.
Will, last question.
Hey, Mr. Kennedy, I think you...
The fact that Chris Comio is having RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and others on his show at News Nation is hilarious. That dude so desperately wants to be part of the new upcoming club. And, you know, we'll welcome him, but don't ever let him forget. I did a video on him in his debate with Dave Smith when Dave Smith annihilated him. Don't ever let him forget. He's allowed in the club, but don't let him forget what he's done. You haven't made up for that yet, buddy.
You're going to win, and I'm a boomer. You are going after some of the largest entities that exist. Big Pharma, Big Agri, Big Government, the CIA, the FBI. Do you think that means that we elect you, right? Are you going to live? Are they going to come after you?
Well, that's not something, Will, that I worry about. I think there are, I'm not stupid about it. So I have, the government, the White House has denied me Secret Service protection. But I do take precautions, and I have a very good security firm, Gavin DeBecker Associates, that is doing my security right now. So I'm not, stupid about it, but it's not something that preoccupies me. I was raised in a family where we were taught that number one, there's a lot worse things than dying. And one of those things is living like a slave or having your children lose all the freedoms that so many generations of Americans died to give us and to protect during the Revolutionary War. That was a whole generation of Americans that put their lives on the line, their fortunes, their property, their salaries, their reputations, their contacts on a line to purchase us these freedoms. And many of them died. During the Civil War, 659,000 Americans died to keep these freedoms. And we have to be willing, our generation, to make sacrifices to make sure that we don't lose them, And we've seen attacks, unprecedented attacks, on our freedom of speech, on our freedom of worship, on all of the amendments of the Constitution over the past 3 years. They're unprecedented. And it's important for everybody to stand up and say, we're not going to do this. We're going to, even if there's some risks involved, reputational risks, salary risks, we need to make sacrifices.
That's a dude that's literally putting his life on the line, just like Trump is. That's courage.
He wants to make people healthy. It's driven him pretty wild over the last number of years, and the Democrats didn't treat him well. He was doing fantastically well, and I think they came out with some rule that you had to do this, Mike. You had to get 70 or 75% of the vote to qualify to be in the primary. That was a pretty tough thing to get.
Think about how they treated him. The same thing they did to Bernie Sanders, and now look at him. He's a part of the new incoming administration. They've created monsters, dude. The left, for a side that has been very well calculated for a really long time and holding power, they have very much miscalculated what they've done now. They are losing their grip on power, and they're terrified of it.
And he was doing incredibly well, and he decided he can't do it, went independent. Now he's with us all the way. And today I nominated him for, I guess, if you like health and if you like people that live a long time, it's the most important position, RFK Jr. Bobby? Good. And I just looked at the news reports. People like you, Bobby. Don't get too popular, Bobby. Oh. You know, you've reached about the level. Now, we want you to come up with things and ideas and what you've been talking about for a long time. And
you see how he's making a joke about people say that Trump doesn't want people to outshine him? The dude's very self-aware.
And I think you're going to do some unbelievable thing. Nobody's going to be able to do it like you. And boy, does he feel it in his heart. So congratulations also to your family.
Dude, I feel like Trump has become... I've always felt like he genuinely wanted to save the country, but I feel like he's more genuine than ever. I think the attempt on his life really had an impact on him. Oh, let's see what this crazy bitch has to say.
Expected to pick Robert F. Sources tell NBC News that the president-elect Donald Trump is expected.
I hate this woman. You have no idea. I hate everybody at MSNBC, but this woman, I hate her more than Rachel Maddow. The one where J.D. Vance, he said something about some chick, and she like had that smug reaction. It was like, "Oh, it's coming, buddy," and then we had a landslide.
Expected to pick Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Trump had previously promised RFK a, quote, big role after RFK abandoned his independent bid for president and endorsed Donald Trump. The New York Times describes him like this, as a, quote, environmental lawyer who has no medical or public health degrees and has promoted anti-vaccine conspiracies for years, end quote. Regarding the Food and Drug Administration, the agency that is responsible for the safety of our prescriptions, vaccines, cosmetics.
Are they really going to pretend like their degrees matter? Nobody cares about your degrees. I'm 10 credits away from a degree, and I don't even care about it.
Our food, even veterinary medicine, an agency that would be under his purview. RFK has said that, quote, entire departments have to go. Let's bring into our breaking news coverage former Obama White House Policy Director, MSNBC medical contributor, Dr. Kavita Patel. Dr. Patel, your first reaction.
Oh, my God. I mean, those of us who have spent our lifetime, kind of decades, working in and around in HHS, I'm not kidding, Nicole, my texts are flying off the chain, both Democrats and Republicans saying, this can't be real. Someone must have gotten this wrong.
Oh, it's
this
real,
can't be possible. And now the second underlying chain, if there's some silver linings, the second thought I had is he can't get confirmed, can he? But I'm just listening to you talk about the DNI and all these other roles that require...
These people are really fear-mongering right now.
Some sort of White House or confirmation or some combination, and here we are. It is really hard to believe. There are career staff texting me saying this was just the push they needed to try to get out. They were already...
Good. Why do you think we want him? We want you to get out. Get out. What have you done to contribute to our health? No, America, you can look at the statistics. We have gotten increasingly more unhealthy. And you're the staffers that are overseeing that. Get the fuck out. We want you to. That's the point. Why do you think we've nominated him? It's like they have no self-awareness.
Already on the fence and worried. We're not just going to see this incredible kind of integration of ideology that has no science behind it. But Nicole, we're going to see probably the best of the best career staff leave.
Bye.
Leaving these agencies potentially hollow that he would oversee.
We want them to leave. That's the point. Get out. Why do they pretend like, oh, you're going to see people leave, as if that's a bad thing? Every time I start to get viewers, every time I get viewers, the connection drops. Okay, we're back, I guess. Literally. What is going on, man? Every time I see that I got a bunch of viewers, my connection drops. I don't know what's going on. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna lose it. Are we back? I do not understand what's going on right now. This is the second time today. Okay. I just connected my hotspot from my phone. Maybe that'll work. Maybe. We're gonna find out. I don't know what's going on with my Starlink today, but it has been bad. I've never had this problem. I mean, it has just been dropping frames. Okay, maybe let's check the speed test. I don't know what is going on, dude. This is the second stream today. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with Starlink. I mean, I've been running streams perfectly fine. Okay, well, it looks like my hotspot's gonna work for now, so we'll continue. Yeah, this has been a problem, dude. Okay. So I read this earlier about John Thune. So everybody's been worried that Trump's appointments aren't going to get through. But according to Senator John Thune, that's not going to be a problem. According to him, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. But he says all the options are on the table to get Trump's cabinet picks through confirmation. Incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune said all the options are on the table to get President-elect Trump's cabinet picks through the confirmation process. Amid concern, some appointees won't receive enough votes to be confirmed. So, according to him, everything's fine. Let me go ahead and check the connection again. So, I'm hoping I can get Starlink figured out tonight. I don't know what is up with the connection, dude. Let me run a speed test. Well, I don't want to even connect to it on my phone right now. It's being very odd. So, let's go look through my timeline here.
See, we're breaking the fever. And you know what? It's messy, but the only reason people think there's chaos in this town right now is because the special interests aren't in control anymore.
He's right. It's pretty great. Who is this? Oh, is that Sydney Sweeney? Dude, what if Brandon Herrera becomes the ATF director? Do you know how incredibly based that would be? The ATF hasn't had a director that actually understood the firearms industry or been a part of the community it's responsible for regulating since its founding. We have the power to change that. Dude, it would be so amazing. I mean, if they put a Purple Heart veteran like Brandon Herrera as the ATF director, because everybody knows that he's a wounded veteran. Oh, let's listen to this.
Great victory. Grant, this has been an amazing week. President Trump obviously pulling off a great victory, the victory we've all been waiting for, and then him announcing so many amazing members of his team. These cabinet picks are phenomenal, and I want to see even more. I want the three-letter responses all over D.C. to keep coming. MSNBC says that the three-letter response yesterday was WTF. Well, I was saying LFG. And, you know, we've been in a FAFO stage recently. You know, we were in the FA and now we're in the FO. And so people are about to find out exactly what we are going to do with this MAGA agenda. You know, I want to see a Thomas Massey as Secretary of Ag. I want to see Brandon Herrera at the ATF.
Hell yeah.
I want to see Bongino as
he's got Lauren Boebert,
as
bro.
the Secretary there with the Secret Service. There are so many things that we can do. And look at the way that Charlie Kirk schools the woke indoctrinating teachers. Maybe he needs to be Secretary of the Department of Education. There's so much that we can do to get America back on track. And President Trump is already doing a great job with that, from Tulsi Gabbard to Bobby Kennedy, and of course my best friend Matt Gaetz as Attorney General.
I didn't think about Charlie Kirk. You know, he's got a great show on this network as well as Secretary of Education. That would be fabulous. All this, it rivals RFK Jr. as head of HHS. I mean, I never thought I'd actually see it, but we're going to see it, and heads are going to roll over there. It's a wake-up call.
What is going on with this right now? It says I'm still streaming, but my studio is
Grant,
like malfunctioning.
This has been an amazing week.
Whatever, bro. Wow, all of America's worst senators oppose Matt Gaetz. Telling. Yep. Dude, I love this. I know I make a lot of jokes, but let me be perfectly clear. I am perfectly willing and able to serve in any capacity I can help at real Donald Trump drain the swamp that is the ATF. Dude, that would be... We gotta make this happen. We gotta make this happen. What's up, Sean Pierce? Gotta make it happen, bro. It has to happen. Apparently my YouTube studio is like wigging out. I am having so many internet problems tonight, but whatever. We're gonna keep going. Okay, hold on. Let me see if my chat is working again. I see that you were able to chat. Let's see if this one goes through. Did it go through? What? There it is. Okay, yep. Let's make Brandon ATF director, bro. All right. What else we got? We're just gonna go through my timeline. See, I read this a minute ago, but it's important to watch.
Getting to that point for recess appointments.
Well, what I said is, Brett, and I think this is that all options are on the table, including recess appointments. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but we'll find out fairly quickly whether the Democrats want to play ball or not. And I think part of it is getting these folks. We'll start having.
So he's saying he's going to confirm Trump's picks.
January. President takes the oath of office January 20th. By the time he takes the oath of office, hopefully a lot of those nominees will be through their confirmation hearings and will be ready to act on them on the Senate floor. And then it's a question of how much do the Democrats.
We'll see if he's being for real or not.
Block, those nominations from going forward, and we're going to grind them out. I mean, we're just going to keep consistently moving, and we'll see what kind of cooperation we get.
Dude, he even looks like a snake. I mean, he is saying that he is going to confirm Trump's picks. So, and then look, we got Good Logic here. Who, by the way, if anybody hasn't seen Good Logic's YouTube channel, he is a lawyer based in New York. He is a very based AF lawyer. I highly suggest checking him out. I love that dude. He's one of my favorite people on YouTube. Very down to earth. Can teach you a lot. Yeah, this is funny. Let's see here. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. Thanks for the subs as well. It's very much appreciated. We watched that earlier. We're just gonna go through my timeline. I don't even care what y'all see. Yeah, before and after. Oh God, that was loud. Oh, yeah, we're not watching that again. My ears are blown. Is that Laura Trump and, yeah. Come on, give me something good. Give me something good. I know I got something. Is that Alex Jones talking about? Oh, yeah, so today they said that The Onion bought Infowars, and apparently that was, like, completely false.
All right, I shot a special report on this that I posted to Real Alex Jones about 2 hours ago. And then I was actually reading the transcripts from the multi-hour emergency court hearing today in federal bankruptcy court in Houston. And then I called all the lawyers and talked to them, and they had a total consensus. They've never seen anything like it. The words were exactly, this was a private secret sale, basically illegal is the word that's used. Not basically, it's crime. I mean, bankruptcy crime. I mean, on its face.
Dude, they're trying to tear down this man so bad.
Disguised as an auction that wasn't an auction. And the people didn't even pay real money. They paid some weird fiat thing that wasn't even agreed to by the judge's order.
So what The Onion was trying to do was buy Infowars on credit, on future earnings, saying we'll pay for it when we make money, which you can't do that.
And then they had the corporate media say that The Onion bought Infowars. And then the judge kept saying to the trustee that did this, I didn't give you the authority to do this. You were supposed to come to me about an auction. This isn't even an auction. And then it's just all over the news that they just bought it and they won the bid and they did that. But then they quote the U.S. trustee going, well, it's not the highest bid, but
so they
it's
lied.
The best bid.
That's basically what he's saying.
They can do anything. It's crazy. So
basically what he's saying is, once again, the corporate media lied. Made a fake story to make it sound like they bought Infowars and it never fucking happened. Let's see what we got on Tulsi here. sure we got something we can watch. Oh, is this John? All right, yeah. So they made Tulsi the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, and the intelligence agency is freaking the fuck out about it. And it's beautiful to watch. Here is piece of shit John Brennan, which I can give you some stories about John Brennan that I listened to earlier today. It's pretty interesting.
Dr. Brennan, your thoughts about Tulsi Gabbard?
Well, Nicole, I think you and Tom Nichols have done a great job just underscoring all the concerns that people have about this appointment. Clearly, Tulsi Gabbard has taken actions and made statements over the past several years that really raise serious questions about her common sense, her judgment, as well as her political sympathies. Cozying up to Putin as well as to meeting with Bashar Assad, I think really does show that she doesn't have the type of perspective that is needed for somebody who's going to head up these 18 intelligence agencies. And as Tom Nichols said, she doesn't have any qualifications. The Director of National Intelligence, that's a really serious position and a very...
She doesn't have any qualifications. As opposed to who? You, John Brennan? You? There's a story I listened to today of a guy who was eventually pardoned but was sent to prison because of this piece of shit who did nothing wrong. All because he had the audacity to say what the CIA was doing overseas, which was completely illegal.
Very complex and complicated one that requires somebody who actually has an understanding of the intelligence community. It's like an...
We don't want people who have the understanding of the intelligence community because you've been using that power to fuck over the American people. We want her there for a reason. Because of people like you, John Brennan.
Orchestra conductor of all the different agencies and departments that are involved in the intelligence process. And I don't think she understands even the instruments that are involved in this orchestra.
That's the point.
Nor has she had any experience at the strategic level of running and leading a large, complex organization. And the Director of National Intelligence is, according to legislation...
He's talking about a military officer, by the way. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the military. I'm a veteran, so let me break it down for you. An officer is basically a glorified manager. That's what they are. So I don't know why the hell he thinks she don't have experience in management. That's what you do as an officer. You manage people.
The president's principal intelligence advisor, the person who is responsible for making sure that the president's daily brief is put together in a very sound and forthright manner.
Oh, he is salty,
the person who puts together the budget and the priorities of the intelligence community. So I know that this appointment is sending shockwaves here in the United States, but also around the globe in terms of, is this really somebody who Donald Trump is going to entrust with the care and the leadership of the intelligence community?
Yep. And I can't wait.
An unserious pick for a serious position.
You want to hear the kind of stuff that John Brennan does? Let's go to Julian Dory's podcast. He just had a CIA guy on. I want you to hear this. See if I can find it quickly. This guy right here.
Yeah. Now
let's listen to the kind of stuff that John Brennan does.
The head of it had been a White House chief of staff, and he liked me, he liked my politics, and so he said, hey, I've got a vacant office, you're welcome to use it, and you can have a half-time secretary at his expense.
He's talking about John Kerry during the Obama administration. And then he goes in and explains John Brennan opening up his case. So, John Brennan has been using lawfare against opponents for a long time. This isn't anything new.
No idea.
We gotta Google this.
Peace negotiator, Bosnia, Middle East, in that 2015 documentary, CIA Spy Masters in the Crosshairs or whatever by the Naudet brothers. He tried
President
to paint
Trump.
himself because
Hell
he
yeah,
was
Claire.
current head of the CIA at that point.
Yeah.
As someone who's like
they're talking about John Brennan
above torture. I'm like, Malaka, you fucking
he
did
made
this.
all that shit up. He was the deputy executive director of the CIA at the time, so he was in the briefings every single
He's
day.
talking about John
And
Brennan.
you knew him well.
Very well. I knew him from the day I was hired.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a GS-14 nobody when I was hired in the Office of Near Eastern and South Asian Analysis.
Yeah, he must be like a good behind-the-scenes guy because the lack of charisma on that dude.
Oh, there's a story that I probably can't get into. But
okay.
Yeah, it's connections.
Here he always talking about him. The only reason that John Brennan is a thing is because of connections. It's not because he's good at his job. So for him to come out and say that Tulsi is not qualified for the job when he wasn't qualified when he got it back in the day.
So he endorsed Obama.
Oh, so he endorsed Obama. Obama says CIA director. The Senate says he can't possibly get confirmed. So Obama makes him the Deputy National Security Advisor for Counterterrorism, which does not require Senate confirmation.
So he got a position in the CIA without confirmation. There you go.
He almost immediately asks Eric Holder, the Attorney General, to secretly reopen the case against me.
Now, why did he want to do that?
Because we hated each other.
That's it. He just didn't like
it.
Now he's talking about John Brennan using lawfare against him.
Always had a Nixonian obsession with leaks, unless it was him leaking, in which case, there's a parade of journalists from the Washington Post and the New York Times, coming in and out of his office.
So
he's talking about the same guy that we just watched on MSNBC, talking about how this guy has been operating like this for years. For years. He is the epitome of deep state.
Open the case.
Yeah.
Now this is where, because I looked at the Wikipedia before this.
Thank y'all for the likes and the subs. I appreciate it.
I wanted to see what the narrative is. Alessi, can you actually pull that up? Just pull up John's Wikipedia.
I've never looked at my Wikipedia.
You never looked at your Wikipedia? It
never even occurred to me.
Yeah, let's pull it up. But basically what it says is that the charges that ended up, I think the final ones that stuck when you made the deal, go down to the case, Alessi, go way down. More. Okay. All right. Go up. Yeah. Do you
want this? Okay.
Yes, right here.
I think that's about it.
So
the Japanese embassy from the number.
Okay. So what they were just talking about was John Brennan. So John Brennan is basically a deep state hack that didn't earn any of his positions. He got put as deputy director of the CIA years ago during the Obama administration, and he didn't get it by merit. He didn't get anything by confirmation in the Senate. It was just appointed to him because it didn't need confirmation. And he has the audacity to get on MSNBC and talk about Tulsi Gabbard not having the qualifications to run the DNI. This guy is very salty right now. He's trying to leverage his influence in the deep state and the media to attack her. They're calling her a Russian asset all over again. This guy is a snake. He is the epitome of deep state, and he is the reason we want a Tulsi at the top of intelligence. For people like him to finally get what they deserve. And I can't wait to see it. Let's see what Charlie Kirk has to say. Former Obama CIA Director John Brennan says Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have the right perspective to be Director of National Intelligence. So let's remind people. John Brennan voted for the communist presidential candidate when in college. John Brennan lied under oath to the Senate about the CIA spying on Senate staffers. John Brennan lied to the public about Obama's drone war, claiming they never killed any civilians when he knew and it was obvious that this was false. John Brennan helped get the Russia collusion hoax off the ground and lied that it was well-founded and based on real evidence. Oh, I'm trying not to burp. John Brennan lied that the Hunter Biden laptop was fake and was Russian disinfo. John Brennan is the exact sort of lifelong Washington, D.C. parasite who must be stamped out. He's a dishonest, authoritarian pig who thinks he has the right to lie to the American people at will and either ignore or rig the results of our elections. He belongs in a prison cell. I could not have said it better myself. So, the podcast we were just listening to was talking about this snake right here. I had just heard it today, and I was like, I know he's going to come up today. So, he's a horrible person. I'm still trying to get over this cold, so I'm sorry. Dude, think about years ago, Tulsi was bagging everybody. She bagged Kamala, she bagged Hillary, she bagged Pete.
Recent example of your inexperience in national security and foreign policy came from your recent careless statement about how you as president would be willing to send our troops to Mexico to fight the cartels.
I mean, I'm kind of in
course
support
in
of that.
Washington to take remarks out of context, but that is outlandish even by the standards of today's politics.
Are you saying that you didn't say that?
I was talking about U.S.-Mexico cooperation. We've been doing
Thanks for the
security
sub and the
cooperation
likes.
with Mexico for
You are
years,
great.
with law enforcement cooperation and a military relationship that could continue to be developed with training relationships, for example. Do you seriously think anybody on this stage
Mr. T is a chess master. They are both. Yep, 100%.
And if your question is about experience, let's also talk about judgment. One of the foreign leaders you mentioned meeting was Bashar al-Assad. I have, in my experience, such as it is, whether you think it counts or not, since it wasn't accumulated in Washington, enough judgment that I would not have sat down with a murderous dictator like that.
Oh my God. I love when they go on that line, like, I will not sit down with a murderous dictator. All right, so you're just gonna let them keep murdering people and not try to stop them? When you're trying to stop things diplomatically, that's the best option. These people, man. I'm seeing, once again, connection issues, but it looks like the stream's still going. I would rather stop things diplomatically than before having to send troops on the ground. We swapped Adam Kinzinger for Tulsi Gabbard. Best trade of the century. Hell yeah.
Loves it.
Let's see what these idiots have to say.
And we haven't even gotten to Tulsi Gabbard potentially having access to national security information. And Russia loves it, loves her.
And I actually think almost more than Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard's appointment is devastating. And Tulsi Gabbard's nomination.
These people are nuts.
As much as she says that she's an anti-war person, she's not.
Yeah.
She supports very pro-war individuals.
Including in Syria.
And let's be very clear, a Tulsi Gabbard nomination is a pro-war nomination globally.
What? What? You're telling me the people that have been sending money to Ukraine, Tulsi has literally been going on podcast after podcast talking about our interventionist policies in a negative light. What the fuck do you mean she's pro-war? She's like one of the least pro-war people that have been appointed in this cabinet. If you're gonna come up with hit pieces, you gotta be better than that. That's wild. This is Tulsi talking about the biolabs in Ukraine, I believe. Which is a very interesting.
Here are the undeniable facts. There are 25 to 30 U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine. According to the U.S. government, these biolabs are conducting research on dangerous pathogens. Ukraine is in an active war zone with widespread bombing, artillery, and shelling, and these facilities, even in the best of
this lady's so pro-war
circumstances, could easily be compromised and release these deadly pathogens.
28? Wow.
Now, like COVID, these pathogens know no borders. If they are inadvertently or purposely breached or compromised, they will quickly spread all throughout Europe, the United States, and the rest of the world, causing untold suffering and death. So in order to protect the American people,
take some
the people
NyQuil.
of Europe, the people around the world,
I'll be getting drowsy.
these
I'm
labs
so
need to be
sick,
shut
dude.
down immediately, and the pathogens that they hold need to be destroyed. Instead of trying to cover this up, the Biden-Harris administration needs to work with Russia, Ukraine, NATO, the UN to immediately implement a ceasefire for all military action in the vicinity of these labs until they're secured and these pathogens are destroyed. Now, in addition to all this, the U.S. funds around 300 biolabs around the world who are engaging in dangerous research, including gain of function, similar to the lab.
So, Jetlag, are you saying we have 28 biolabs? Is that what you're saying? In Ukraine? If so, that's just insane. Is that Tulsi Gabbard? Dude. I'm not even going to say what I want to say about this. But you know what I'm thinking. For any women that are in here, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a pig. But. I mean, come on. I think even the women agree. Yeah. That's, yeah. Enough said. I'm not even going to look at it. This is a current view of America from the moon. Alright, let's see what my timeline. Pull up the map when Putin first fired over there, and it shows them all. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I was actually watching that live. Let's see if we can look that up. That's what that all was? I mean, I know he was hitting communication centers, but I bet you they were hiding communication centers near biolabs. Let's see. All right, which one is it? Is it this one? All right, what are you doing here? What's going on? Is it making me pay? Is it this map right here, though? I'll just increase the... Okay, it's being so whack right now. I was hoping it would let me pull it up. Yeah, it's gonna make me pay. Well, that's so whack, dude. I'm guessing it's this map, though, that you're talking about. That looks like it could be about 28. That has to be the one you're talking about, yep. March 1st, that makes a lot of sense. That would be 2022. I can't believe Bloomberg's gonna try to make you pay just to look at a map. Okay, yeah, it has to be that map. I can't pull it up. Maybe I can, yeah, it's so stupid. Maybe I can save it. There we go. Boom. This map. So you're telling me all of those strikes, all of these were biolabs? Or at least the majority of them? If so, that's crazy, dude. That's a lot of fucking biolabs. That's just ridiculous. That's what they were saying? So I remember when this happened, and I do remember reports of biolabs, but 28's insane. But I mean, it could make sense if you're Russia and you know that the West is funding a fuck ton of biolabs on your border. Why wouldn't that be the first thing you strike? And I bet you they were hiding like key communication centers and all kinds of other shit. I mean, he was very strategic when he initially struck. I think he wanted to take the whole country when he initially started, but it didn't work out. It's a very interesting war, man. It's not a good thing going on. I hope Trump is able to end it. Alright, let's go see what my timeline's looking like. We're still going. We've been on for an hour, and I'm gonna go a little longer because my stream earlier today didn't work out. So, by the way, all the people in here, I see you've given me a bunch of likes and some subscribers. I appreciate you. Hell yeah, I think I've gotten like 4 new subs in this stream, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's really cool. The soccer ball deal told me all I needed to know. Oh yeah, dude. There's so much weirdness going on, dude. But that's why I'm grateful for Trump. Like, it's exposing a lot. It really is. But we're on the push to 500 subs. If I hit 500 subs, then I'm 1,300 watch hours away from being able to monetize. So, I'm so grateful that these past few days my streams have been very successful. That's pretty awesome. I should have just been live streaming from the beginning, but I was making videos and I wasn't ever live streaming, and now I'm actually starting to grow. So I'm probably just going to keep live streaming. I think that's the best route. I'm a little bit more uncomfortable live streaming because you could probably tell I have a couple tics, and like when you're making videos you can edit those tics out, but when you're live streaming you can't really stop it. So it makes me a little self-conscious, but whatever. I'm here. I'm new here, but sub, I hang out with you. Hey, I appreciate it, dude. There's really only a few people that I see all the time, but I appreciate you being here. I don't really know what else to talk about, so I'm just gonna go through my timeline. I'm not like other people who are like worried about what you see on my timeline. I don't have anything to hide. So, I did like what Clint Russell said earlier. DEI employees threatening to quit over SecDef, HexF appointment. FDA employees threatening to quit over RFK Jr. DOJ employees threatening to quit over AG Gaetz. At this rate, Elon and Vivek won't have to fire hardly anybody. Tremendous. Like, these people don't have the self-awareness to understand that's exactly what we want. Like, you're helping us out. We want you to quit. That's kind of the point. Let's go to my For You tab. I switched back from For You to following. For You to following. Oh, what is this dude saying?
I mean, I would describe it as God tier level trolling to just trigger a full-on China syndrome to own the libs in perpetuity.
He's right. I know he's saying it in a derogatory way, but he's right. So, Jetlag, where are you from, bro? Also, with that name, are you a pilot? Because I'm a pilot. It'd be cool if you were. If you think Trump's picks have broken lib brains so far, wait till you see who is coming next. Dude, does Poso have insider information? He's got to have insider information. Hermosa Beach, SoCal. Oh, SoCal. I was stationed in San Diego. I was in the Navy. I got out in 2018, and I was stationed on Coronado. I miss my SoCal, dude. I don't know how you put up with it out there, but it's such a beautiful place to live. There's definitely something going on with my Starlink. Because I keep losing connection on my laptop. I'm probably just going to have to reset the router. Good old SoCal. I was stationed on Coronado, and I lived right there on the Strand, and then I lived in Imperial Beach at one point. Property been paid off a long time, cost me $1,800 a year to be here. Hey, that's not bad. From there, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. I was living in a sailboat on Silver Strand before I got out, and it was costing me like $350 a month, and that's, I would say, overall probably like $800 a year while I was in the Navy. I was doing pretty well, but once I got out the Navy, I knew I wasn't going to be able to afford to live there, so I came back home to Louisiana. I'm still in college, but I'm a pilot. I've been in flight training for a while, and I was gonna go back in the military, but then the military got stupid, so I decided to stay out. See, but I love living there. This state is red. They be rigging this place. Oh yeah, dude. Trust me, I know. I have so many friends back there in San Diego. They tell me so much. Y'all have some serious corruption problems. But I know most of y'all are red because I had many friends that were conservative. Especially, like, you get out the cities, I mean, the surrounding areas. Especially, you get out to, like, Temecula and those areas, dude, that's conservative country. Like, everybody tries to pretend like all these Hispanics are voting for the left, but every Hispanic I met in Temecula was, like, hardcore Trump. Like, they've definitely been playing y'all. I used to play airsoft. If you know where Jungle Island is in Temecula, or in that area, I used to play. What is it? I came in late, but I caught what you said about Brandon, that he's a snake, a deep state operative. That is the kind of stuff that I love to hear. Oh hell yeah, Patra. I was listening to a podcast earlier that was talking about some of the stuff that he did during the Obama administration. That guy is a horrible person, and I hope he sees prison one day. It's like Texas, just the big cities ruin it. Yeah, I lived in Texas for a while too, and I can say, spending a lot of time in Temecula and then living in Texas, it's basically the same place, just more expensive. But yeah, John Brennan, Patra, he is, I listen to a lot about the stuff that dude does. It's not good. It's not good. Okay, I'm trying to find something worth. Oh, this is that woman that was fired for. I had no idea. Yeah, so he John Brennan wasn't even confirmed by the Senate when he first got he got deputy director of the CIA. You didn't have to be confirmed by the Senate to get that position. Obama appointed him, and as soon as he got that position, Obama basically used him to use lawfare against political opponents. That's where all this started. So John Brennan's been using the CIA to go after political opponents since the Obama administration. I mean, he is truly an evil person. There's a huge rabbit hole you can go down with John Brennan. I mean, it would take me hours to really explain to people how bad that guy is. AOC removes pronouns from bio. Just like Bolton. Yep. See, Bolton's in the DOD side of it. You have, like, these figures in all of these different branches of our government, of the executive deep state thing we got going on. Bolton is on the DOD side. And then you got people like Brennan in the intelligence side. You got people in the health side. That's why the health administration is very upset about RFK. They're everywhere. When you said snake, I thought another lizard. Oh, yeah. If you want proof about lizard people, just look at people like him. I mean, you could probably, if you watch closely, you'll probably watch his eyes turn into a snake. But yeah, Bolton's the DOD deep state. Let's see. Who else we got? You got people like McCabe. He's another intelligence pawn. I've met a few and they were real. I mean, I met a guy when I was in California who really scared. He was a Satanist. And one time I looked in this guy's eyes and I can't really say that I believe in it, this sort of thing. But when I met this man, I looked into his eyes and I swear to you, his eyes changed. Like right there in front of me. And ever since then, I've been like, there's something about it. There's something about it. Maybe it's just demonic. Like, I won't go like, you know, the reptilian route, but maybe it's just demonic and they shape reptilians and demons are just like that. I don't know. Maybe we're thinking about the same thing. I mean, you gotta think. What's the Bible say? You know, Satan is a snake who is on his belly, and kind of makes sense. Now, remember that map you pulled up? Now, look at the people Trump is putting in place. See any similarities? Explain it to me. I might see the similarities, but if you explain it to me, I'm trying to think. Well, I know Tulsi talking about the biolabs. RFK Jr. Elon Musk. Let's see. Who else? No, you didn't imagine. I don't think I imagined it. I am wanting to see where jet lag is going with this, though. Let's see, you got Vivek, Elon, Tulsi, RFK Jr., Rubio. I know he's put a bunch of pro-Israel people. Like Stefanik, Huckabee. Is there something I'm missing? Is there a connection here? Let's see. Once again, thanks for the likes, everybody. He's not what you think he is. He's really dark, but he tries to hide it. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't trust anybody. I'm skeptically optimistic. That's what I tell people. I'm always skeptically optimistic. Never put your full trust in anybody. That's a huge mistake. They're trying to call it a swastika too. That's funny. It's definitely not a swastika. It's basically a crusader cross. They tried to call him an extremist for that, which, yeah. I don't trust Robert Kennedy Jr. Well, I never trust a Kennedy. Like, I don't mind RFK Jr., but never trust a Kennedy. But, like I said, skeptically optimistic. What I do is I pray that the people that you distrust the most prove you wrong. That's what I do. Like Rubio. I don't trust Rubio as far as I can throw him. But I'm remaining skeptically optimistic, and I'm praying that he proves me wrong. But that could always blow up in my face. I mean, Trump's proved a lot of people wrong. You know, a lot of people thought Trump was going to be this, going to be that. But I think ever since Trump was shot, I think there's an obvious change in the man. Now, I've been supporting him since 2016. Especially about Rubio, yeah. Yeah, I can't trust the guy. But a lot of people started seeing the change in Trump, I believe, after he was shot. I noticed for a while that he was genuine as far as, like, wanting to make America great again. But when he was shot, I think that solidified something in him. Like, he knew that he had a legacy here. That, I mean, like, let's look back at everything this past few months. Like, this is crazy. The man was shot and then reelected. It's, you can't make this stuff up. His aura changed, yeah. I agree. And he started, like, you could tell he's, like, in deep reflection when he talks now. You never saw that from Trump. Trump always talked off the hip. Always. Now you can tell he's actually reflecting on the things he says, which is completely different from when he used to talk. He used to just go on and on and on. Now sometimes you can kind of see he's thinking about what he's saying. It's been very interesting to watch. I mean, he's reminding me of a King David type figure. That's what he's like. And there's something I've been trying to tell people. This is a very vain thing. He learned how to troll them. Yeah, I agree. There's something I was trying to tell people. Think of the old kings, the good kings. So, not calling Trump a king, but a good king would want to leave a legacy. He wants the people to be prosperous because he wants the people to remember him as the good king. The king that brought them prosperity. That's what Trump's at now. Trump wants to be remembered as a good president. He wants to be remembered as the guy who saved America. That's a big deal. Like, somebody who truly wants to do that because they want to be remembered that way, they're going to do everything they possibly can to do that. I see wisdom in him I never saw before after he got shot. Yeah. I always knew he was smart, and I've supported him this whole time, but after he was shot, there was a clear change. He seems more genuine than he ever has. I'm liking it. I'm on board, dude. And I like the route we're going. So, and I don't agree with all his appointments. I definitely don't agree with Rubio, but some of his appointments have been really good. And you could kind of tell he is trolling them, like Jetlag said. The Matt Gaetz appointment was an obvious troll. Tulsi Gabbard as Director of Intelligence, that's the biggest troll of all of them. And people aren't really realizing how big of a troll that is. I mean, this is the girl who Hillary Clinton called a Russian asset. A near-death experience will change a person, yeah. I think it did change him. I mean, the first time we ever saw him, like, tear up was after he was shot at the RNC. And that's when I realized it. I was on the phone with my dad. We were watching the RNC together. And I remember telling him on the phone, I was like, there's something different. Like, he sounds different. This is not the same Trump we had a week ago. It was clear that that it changed him. And you could just tell the way he talks about it. All I know is Trump 2.0, I'm digging it. I'm on board. I'm here for the trolling. You know, but what we do need to do, we have to keep that dude inside in a glass case. I don't want him going to any more public events. Like, we got him elected. The only public events he needs to go to is the one he has to go to, you know, for his duties. We need to keep that dude under lock and key. Because his life is in more danger than it's ever been. I mean, these people, they're probably freaking out. Get him a Pope Mobile, yeah. Not only get him a Pope Mobile, get him like a mobile, like, stage. Like, just wheel him out and then wheel him back. Like, get him a mobile where, like, there's something that moves out with a glass case and just, like, push him everywhere. Like, don't even let him step outside. What position did he give Kennedy? Human and Health Services. So, he's the Human and Health Services Secretary. We can actually go look at that if you want. Let's see. Yeah, you're welcome. So, this was the woman that was, well, man, sorry. I called it a woman. I'm not going to do that. So this was the guy who was part of the position that Trump just gave RFK Jr. He's going to sell him out. I hope he doesn't. I can see why you would think that. I hope he doesn't. That comes back to I'm remaining skeptically optimistic. What we can say about RFK is he did do a lot for the EPA by cleaning up the rivers. He has been very outspoken against the shit they put in our food, so maybe he doesn't, but always be skeptical. Especially with a Kennedy. I mean, there's a history of Kennedys being politicians. I thought that I had an official thing here. Maybe it's on his page. It's on Trump's page. Hold on. I didn't know Trump. Is that a special little thing that you give the president? Okay. I am through it now. You have every right to have that opinion. I don't disagree. I am thrilled to announce Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the United States Secretary of Health and Human Services. Trump was good friends with JFK Jr. Yeah, he was. He was very sad when he passed. For too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health. The safety and health of all Americans is the most important role of any administration, and HHS will play a big role in helping ensure that everybody will be protected from harmful chemicals, pollutants, pesticides, pharmaceutical products, and food additives that have contributed to the overwhelming health crisis in this country. Mr. Kennedy will restore these agencies to the traditions of the gold standard scientific research and beacons of transparency to end the chronic disease epidemic and to make America great and healthy again. So, that looks like what he's going to be doing. Now, has anybody seen what has been going on in Pennsylvania? When did JFK Jr. die, by the way? Wasn't it a plane crash? Pretty sure it was a plane crash. I can always double check. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yep, 1999. Okay. I thought that's what it was. I'm a pilot, so I should know that. I'm pretty sure I read about it when I was in college. I asked you earlier, Jetlag, about your name. Are you a pilot? Yes, but he's not dead. That's what people say. I mean, I don't believe it, but I can understand why people have beliefs like that. But I feel like with a name like Jetlag, you would be a pilot. RC planes? That's funny. That's pretty cool. Is that a lot of money? I see people that do that put a lot of money into it. Not as much money as me being in flight school. I got you, Patra. Let's just say I am $40,000 in debt for flying real planes. That's how much that's cost. So yeah, this was the Senate talking about violating the law today. Like any hobby can be expensive, yeah. I have some friends that are into RCs and drones, and what's funny is I have a really good friend. He's a pilot as well, and he's also really into drones. And I'm like, dude, how do you afford that? And apparently his father's like an oil baron. He drives a Porsche, so he can afford all that. I am living in a camper and $40,000 in debt because of my hobby. That's not a hobby. It was supposed to be my job, but which I thought I had videos of here on me flying, but I forgot that I don't have my hard drive. So the decision desk called it from McCormick, but the Pennsylvania Senate is still trying to pull some BS. We're at an hour 40. Probably going to be wrapping up here in a couple minutes. I've been going all day. I went to work and I went to the gym. But I said my stream failed earlier today, so I said I was going to stream for a little bit. So do you fly private? Yes, as of now, I'm a private pilot. I am instrument rated, though. I'm 10 credits away from an aeronautical science degree, but it got very expensive. Like right now, it costs $300 an hour for flight lessons. So I had to take some time off. But yeah, my plan was to go commercial, and so far that hasn't worked out much. But I'm about to finish my degree, and I'm probably about to apply for jobs at SpaceX for operations management. So I might be working for Elon here in the near future. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It's been, the economy has been rough for flight students. But we make do, we get through it. You know, don't give up. I mean, I'm never going to stop trying to fly. That's like my dream. But it would be really cool if, you know, I could ever make money streaming. But until then, I'm probably going to apply for a job with Elon. And use my, you know, $50,000, $60,000. Well, really, if you add all the flight costs, my degree cost like $140,000. But a lot of that was used, the GI Bill while I was in the military. And it paid for most of it, and then I'm 40 in debt. So, my degree is pretty expensive. So I'm about to put that to good use, I guess. But to get a flight degree costs that much? Yeah. So you can become a commercial pilot without getting a degree, and it would cost you a lot less. But because I was in the military, and my original plan was to go back into the military as an officer to fly for the military, you have to have a degree for that. So I decided to use my GI Bill when I got out to get my degree. And if you count, the degree itself is about $60,000, and then altogether you're going to put like $50,000 in flight costs, depending on what you get. So yeah, if you add it all up, you're looking over $100,000 at least. I'm $38,300 something in debt just from the flight cost alone. That's not counting tuition, lab fees, supplies, all that. It's very, very expensive. Like, I cannot stress enough how expensive it is. And unlike Kamala, I do not come from a middle-class family. I come from a lower-class family, so. It has not been easy. Alright, y'all. I'm getting tired. I've been going since 8 this morning. I took NyQuil already because I'm sick. I'm getting drowsy. So I'm going to call it a night. Yeah, but did you work at McDonald's? No, I worked at Walgreens. Before the Navy, before being a pilot, before where I am now, I was a pharmacy technician at Walgreens, believe it or not. So I have pharmacy technician certifications that I got while I was in high school. I thought I was going to go get a chemistry degree. And when I got to college originally for chemistry, I realized how much I hate chemistry and how much I hate pharmaceutical companies. So I couldn't do it. So then I went into the Navy and became an aviation mechanic and realized how much I love airplanes, and that's been my life ever since. So since I was about 19, 20, I've been around airplanes. So, and I'm 30 years old now. Thanks for the insight. Chemistry was my undergrad. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you like it. I got there and I hated it. And it's not that I'm not smart. I mean, I'm about to have an aeronautical degree. I'm slightly intelligent, but I don't know what it was. Like, when I first got there and I saw all those chemical diagrams and signs, and you know, I hated it. I was like, I couldn't take it. So I dropped out immediately. I dropped out. Before I even dropped out, I went and joined the Navy. I walked into a recruiter's office, and he was trying to sell me on it. He was like giving me all these things about how great the military was, and I was like, dude, I don't need you to sell me on it. I'm here to join. Like, just give me the contract. And he just laughed and gave me the contract, and then I went and dropped out of school. And I got the job, aviation structural mechanic. Ended up working on the C-2 Greyhound. If you jet lag, you might know what the C-2 Greyhound is. The C-2 Greyhound is a carrier onboard delivery aircraft. Actually, you know what? If anybody's here, I can look it up for you. You can do anything you want. You'll figure out, dude. You know how many setbacks I've had in life? I'll always figure it out. eventually. So this is what I worked on in the Navy. This is my baby. This bad boy right here. I worked for a pharmaceutical, but I couldn't stay. I'm an entrepreneur. That's pretty awesome. I did not like pharmaceutical companies. But that's pretty cool. But yeah, I worked on this. So I worked on this for about 2 years. You're welcome. And then I went, jet lag, you might also know this. Then after I left that, I went and worked on this. Yeah, that's my favorite plane. The C2 ground. And then I went and worked on the Combat Seahawk. This bad boy right here. I wish it would show me the picture I wanted. That isn't helping me. Okay, yeah, so I went and worked on the 860 Sierra, which is a sea combat helicopter. A bunch of SEALs riding this. Air crewmen, like search and rescue stuff. They're big on the search and rescue. So, that was my time in the Navy. Actually, this helicopter right here is one I specifically worked on. That exact helicopter is one that I know. Gotta have some intelligence to be able to navigate those types of... Yeah. You gotta be somewhat smart. I will say, though, you do have some dummies that make their way through. I would like to think that I'm a little bit smarter than some people. But I would be lying if I said there wasn't some dummies in the industry. Why do you think we have so many mishaps? I had an Osprey fly over my shop today. That's pretty awesome. I was actually... So the plane that I was just showing y'all... This plane, this is... They replaced this plane with the Osprey. And I was there when they brought in the presidential Ospreys. And I was there when they were, like, phasing these planes out to replace it with the Osprey. People like me hate the Osprey. I can't stand it. It's an impractical plane, and I do not like it. But they replaced my beloved C2 with the Osprey quite a few years ago. We call it the Marine Killer. But I was there when they brought in, let's see, these right here. I was there when they brought in the presidential Osprey. So I've actually been in one of these. I mean, they're cool planes, but they're a bitch to work on. Nobody likes them, and they kill people. They crash all the time. Yeah, it's a beautiful plane, though. Yep. Anyways. Alright, everybody. Anybody that's left in here. Patra, Jetlag, I appreciate you hanging out and talking to me. I need to go to sleep. I'm starting to get loopy. Like a heli on nitrous. Yeah. It's a bitch to work on. Have a good night, kiddo. I appreciate that. You as well. Good luck with your entrepreneuring. And Jetlag, hope you feel better soon. I appreciate that. Jetlag, good luck with your RC cars, bro. Thanks for hanging out, man. Or RC cars. I mean, RC planes. See how tired I am? Alright, y'all. Thanks again. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subs. Glad you found your channel. We'll be back in. I appreciate it, dude. You have a great night. Thank y'all.